All right, there we go.
Praat maar net so
Oh, that's kind of far away.
Sit die mic het na jou toe kyk.
Let's bring this in closer. Okay, there we go.
Now we're not in. Adam's
Oh, you're
not
right.
in the picture.
You know, it's because it won't let me go. Oh, stupid YouTube. Changing the way you do business. Only been doing it this way for 20 years. There we go. Well, now we're kind of far away, but that's where it's going to have to be. All right, folks. Sorry for the headaches. Okay, now come on in, Ernst. Okay. Oh, too many crickets. All right, I'll sit like this. How's this? Okay, there we go. Hey, folks. Welcome back to the program. This is Chris live in Annapolis, Maryland, one of the first capitals of the United States. Here briefly during the American Revolution. And of course, home for the famous bronze monument here to Alex Haley, the author of Roots. I'm here with Ernst Roets and Ernst motorcycle. Hang on. Ernst Roets Concious Caracal. We're in Annapolis, the first time seeing it, guys. Let me ask you, Ernst. We went over the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. A little bit of small bit of water there. What'd you think of that?
Yeah, it was incredible. It's an incredible thing here and other places in America to see the amazing architecture and the amazing feats that were achieved by the Americans in building this country up to the great nation that it is. And a bridge like that is just incredible. It's a marvel, an engineering marvel to witness something like that.
Well, it's just a small spot of water, kind of like crossing the Vaal River, right?
Yeah. I was thinking about the Hennops Rivier or the Great Alpies River.
The Great Alpies River.
As
Okay.
Churchill used to say. No, it was incredible. To go over a lake like that or a river, and I think you said it's sort of fresh water with a little bit salt water,
yeah.
But it feels like you're driving over the ocean. It's incredible.
It absolutely does. So Ernst, we were talking about fauna here in Maryland and what sort of thing is out there. I know you were desperate to see a caracal, but we didn't see any of those, so sorry about that. Isn't that a Rui cut? Isn't that what you call it?
No, Rui cut. Yeah, and I saw some signs that say you should beware of the deer, but that's about it.
Well, actually, deer are a lot worse than Rui cut. Trust me, they're a lot worse. You hit a deer, you're going to tow your car out. Quite dangerous in the October-November time frame when they're rutting, and then again in the spring when they rut. So you got to be very careful of that. But we're here in Annapolis, historic, beautiful town. We went to the Naval Academy. Ernst, what about that? What'd you think of that?
Yeah, well, again, as Ernst Roets also mentioned, the architecture, everywhere we go, we just see beautiful architecture. Even minor buildings would be in South Africa a building of note if it was placed there. So no, that's definitely something that stands out. And just the layers and layers of heritage. You can see the history here. You clearly see that this is a place with a long story to tell. It didn't just pop up yesterday.
Well, one thing, you did notice some sailors walking around in fatigues in uniform, even though it's kind of hot. I do apologize that none of them were morbidly obese. You didn't feel at home with the South African Navy.
Yeah, we didn't get the true experience. It's really something in South Africa to look at. It's sad, but it's also funny sometimes to look at just how the Army and the Navy have deteriorated. So the one famous clip that we still laugh at is that news clip. Initially I thought it was fake and eventually turned out to be true, where the South African Navy bought a submarine from Russia, I think, and the spokesperson for the Navy was asked, but why is it important to have a submarine like this? And he said, well, because there are sharks in the water and it's dangerous to go into the water. And so the submarine provides a deterrent to the sharks. So that's the South African Navy's position on the importance of submarines.
I'm assuming there's just a lot of sharks here.
Yeah, there's a lot of sharks here. And you notice that all our Navy personnel are quite fit, so they're obviously swimming after these sharks.
Yeah, they must be swimming away from them. Something like that.
I always thought that the shark fence at Durban is what kept the sharks at bay, but I was wrong. Apparently it's the South African Navy submarine.
Yeah, they're patrolling the shoreline for sharks.
Yeah. All right, well, today is Bastille Day. It's a holiday in France as they started chopping the heads off of the monarchy and nobles and royalty there. They celebrate it every July 14th. But here in America, it's rather momentous day too. Is just yesterday, we'll talk briefly about this. We're going to talk a little bit more about it back in the Naval Academy where there's a lot less traffic and maybe we can get some better lighting. But maybe the wind will die down there a bit. But I just want to touch on very quickly. Last night at 6:13 in the evening in Butler, Pennsylvania, President Donald Trump, they attempted to assassinate him. And whatever you think about Trump, whether you like him or dislike him, you got to admit the guy's an OG. He's the original gangster. I mean, the dude gets shot in the head. He reaches up, he sees the blood, he hears another shot, so he drops to the ground for cover. Yeah. Of course, CNN reported that he had fallen at an event. It was at an incident.
Yeah, he was taken away by the security police after he fell down on stage.
Yeah, apparently that's what they said happened. Did you guys see this last night? Did you hear about it?
Yeah. Well, we were busy doing laundry. I think Ernst was out.
I was outside in DC. I didn't have any Wi-Fi, so I was walking around, just enjoying the moment. Not a phone in sight. And then when I got back to the hotel, messages
All hell broke loose.
Yeah, literally all hell broke loose.
I was in the room. We had just done laundry, so I was ironing some stuff, and I got the news on the first breaking news story. So I switched on the TV, and it was everywhere, obviously on all the channels.
Yeah. Now you've been here in the past, but Caracal, have you been in the States previously, or is it your first visit?
This is my first time.
And so far, you've been here a few days and you've been working your tail off, but what's been the most striking thing about America you've seen?
Well, I think we've not seen, we spend most of our time in DC, and I mean, we haven't seen this much of the city at all. But what was very striking is I really enjoy a lot of the preservation of old architecture and a lot of the statues and monuments that commemorate your history. There's around every corner there's some type of slice of history, and you can learn about it very easily. So I think that's definitely something that stood out to me.
Well, speaking of history, right here just in front of us, about 6 meters away, is a bronze layout of 3 children lying down on the ground with Alex Haley, the author of Roots, who kind of brought genealogy back to the American mindset back in the 1970s, sitting right there reading from a book, very well-known American. This is fascinating. He traced his history from here. His ancestor, Kunta Kinte, was landed right here in Annapolis, behind us, as a slave in the 18th century, early 18th century. And he traced that history back to West Africa. Wow. Very famous. So lots to see here. A little famous college just up the street. You can see the flags blowing off the cupola up there. And we're going to go around the city and see a little bit more here before we take off. But listen, I want to thank you guys. We'll chat a little bit more later on, but thanks for being here. And my apologies to the audience. Let me just step over here. YouTube has changed something in the app. You can no longer do a landscape. I don't know what their issue is. I noticed this when I was in South Africa a few weeks back. I can no longer do landscape. That's the reason why you're not getting a better view and you're seeing us in this idiotic projection here, because it's stupid. It's kind of set up for shorts, and this isn't a short, it was a live broadcast. So I want to thank everybody tuned in. Be sure to hit the like button if you don't mind. We appreciate you being here live from Annapolis, Maryland, one day after the attempted assassination of the President of the United States. This is Chris with the Concious Caracal and Ernst Roets in Annapolis. Bye-bye, donkey. Cheers, folks. Take care. We'll catch you later. Why should they